Hi everyone and welcome to Splash Page. I'm Sean and today we'll be discussing Douglas Abbot, the main antagonist of the Sweet Tooth series. Douglas Abbot, or Abbot as he's referred to throughout the story, I guess the name Doug didn't seem too tough, and the writers of the show must have agreed with that because they actually renamed him Stephen Abbott according to IMDb, and he'll be played by Neil Sandlins. Neil Sandlins also had roles in The Flash and the 100 TV shows. Nothing too major, but definitely a character that you would recognize. No Doug hate here at Splash Page. We are all pro Doug. Abbott was raised with his brother Johnny by an abusive father. As soon as he could leave the house, he went and joined the military. He joined the 49th Infantry in the Army and quickly learned how to fight and how to lead. While he was gone, his father continued to physically and mentally abuse his younger brother Johnny. Once the virus started ravaging the world, the armed forces began to crumble, and a bunch of men, including Abbott, left the infantry, left their post, and headed toward Nebraska, as they heard there was a military camp there that was still maintained. On the way, he stopped at his hometown to see if his brother survived the initial pass of the virus, and to his surprise, both his brother and now elderly father survived. Abbott saves Johnny from a group of men who are trying to steal his goods and potentially kill him. Abbott then tries to convince Johnny to come with him, but Johnny wants to bring their father. It's at that point that Abbott reveals that his first stop in the hometown was actually to his childhood home, where he encountered his father. Abbott killed their father in cold blood so that Johnny would have nothing to go back to and would be forced to go with Abbott. Johnny is extremely distraught, but just as Abbott planned, Johnny comes with him. Upon their arrival at the military camp, or the preserve as it comes to be known, the current leader of the camp and Abbott have a mutual respect. They discuss how they have captured some of the hybrid children and plan on experimenting on them to find out if they have anything to do with the virus. Abbott and his men quickly sign up to be part of the militia camp. However, the leader of the militia camp has no use for Johnny. He instantly sees that he does not have a military background and just doesn't like his overall vibe, so he says that Johnny must leave and have plenty of mouths to feed already. Abbott refuses to let Johnny go. After a confrontation with the leader, Abbott stabs him in broad daylight in front of everyone in the militia camp. Abbott arrived with as many men as were in the militia camp, so he kind of has his "I'm the captain now" moment.
Look at me, sure. I'm the captain now.
Abbott continues the mission of capturing hybrids and experimenting on them to try to uncover what caused the virus. One day, Abbott sees a man and a pregnant woman being attacked by a group called the Cultists, who are in competition with Abbott's militia for hybrid children. He saves the two and convinces them to come back with him to the preserve. This is where we meet Jepperd, the protagonist of Sweet Tooth and someone I've already done a video on. Immediately after they arrive at the preserve, Abbott drops all pretext and immediately separates Jepperd from his wife Louise. He locks Jepperd up in a cage, similarly to what he does to the hybrid children he's been capturing. The day Jepperd's wife is in labor, Jepperd gets out of his cage as Johnny lets him out and starts attacking Abbott's men. Abbott takes Jepperd on one-on-one and beats him until he's unconscious. Rather than killing Jepperd, Abbott throws his unconscious body outside of the fence, and once he comes to, he tells him that both his wife and his unborn child died in childbirth. A devastated Jepperd walks away, but Abbott wasn't telling the entire truth. Jepperd's wife did pass away. His hybrid son, who Abbott names Buddy, lived and is now a prisoner at the militia camp. We then jump forward a few years without hearing from Abbott, until Jepperd does the unthinkable and betrays Gus by turning him over to Abbott and his men. Abbott had made a deal with Jepperd, and for Gus, he provides an orange hockey bag that contains the bones of Jepperd's wife Louise. That's right, this bald creep kept the bones of a woman he killed several years earlier in hopes that that woman's husband would come back and trade for them. God, this guy's horrible. Abbott runs the militia camp with an iron fist and is extremely involved in the experimentation on hybrids with Dr. Singh. He keeps them all in a pen or in cages and takes them out one by one to experiment on them. Once he does that, they never return. For you Game of Thrones fans, think about how the Mountain picked one person a day to question while they were in Harrenhal. When Singh discovers there's something different about Gus and his birth, Dr. Singh is able to find out that Gus was raised in Nebraska, and Abbott, Dr. Singh, and a few other of his men go to where Gus lived. They found some information about Gus's birth and that Gus's father was actually from Alaska. So they begin to plot their next move while they're heading back to Militia camp. Once they arrive, they are immediately attacked. Jepperd, with help from the Cultists, attack Abbott's camp and kill the majority of the militia. Abbott fights Jepperd once again, mano-a-mano, while Jepperd is stronger than he was the first time they battled, considering Jepperd was locked in a cage for months. Abbott still is able to overpower him. But Johnny betrays his brother Abbott and saves Jepperd by blowing off a few of Abbott's fingers with a shotgun. This causes Abbott to retreat for the moment, but Abbott doesn't give up easily. He finds a gun and goes back on the attack. He enters the room where Glebhelm, who is the leader of the Cultists, has his hybrid dog sons attacking Buddy, who is Jepperd's son. Abbott takes control of the situation and kills Glebhelm, forcing his hound sons to now work for Abbott. He also makes sure that Buddy survives this attack, as he knows that Buddy can play a potential role in the future. We then go a number of issues without hearing from Abbott, as the main group, with Jepperd and Gus, is dealing with other threats while traveling to Alaska. Abbott uses his hound half-breeds to track down the group to a dam, but when he arrives, only Johnny and Bobby remain, as the rest of the group has already moved on. Abbott can no longer have Johnny running around causing problems for him, so he kills his own brother. Bobby, who they find, breaks after a bit of tough questioning and tells them that the rest of the group has gone to Alaska. So now Abbott and his men know where Jepperd and Gus are going. As they head to Alaska, they spot a hybrid bird boy, and Abbott shoots him down. In a foolish stroke of arrogance, they tie the dead bird boy around Bobby's neck and send him to Gus and Jepperd's group, alerting them of the impending attack. Abbott sends a number of his men up the main driveway where Jepperd and another man he met on his travels, Jimmy Jacobs, have booby-trapped, blowing up a number of Abbott's trucks, starting a firefight in the middle of the street. Abbott, however, is not with this group of men. He swung around the back and cuts off any potential escape by Becky, Gus, Bobby, and Wendy. When Jepperd radios Becky to see how their plan of escape is going, Abbott answers saying, "Jepperd, it's too late." This causes Jepperd to leave Jimmy to fight to his death and come over to where Abbott has Gus. Dr. Singh and Jepperd come clean about the tomb under a building in town that has evidence that the virus came from the hybrids, and that killing more hybrids won't lead to a cure, as human civilization is coming to an end. Then Abbott, to cause more harm, tells Jepperd he can only save one, Gus or his son Buddy. At this point, hate is fueling Abbott rather than any rational thought. But before Jepperd chooses, a group of hybrids that has been living in Alaska jump out and start attacking Abbott and his men. During the fight, Jepperd is gravely injured. Abbott escapes as he needs to see this tomb. Abbott heads into the tomb and begins rummaging through the location when he hears a crack behind him and sees that Jepperd was trying to sneak up on him but accidentally fell down the ladder and broke his leg. The two begin to fight as Abbott is screaming at Jepperd to explain to him what he is looking at. What does this all mean? Jepperd doesn't give him a clean answer and is barely hanging on by a thread, making one more attack before Abbott picks up the gun and aims it directly at Jepperd's head. We know that Abbott is willing to kill anyone for his goals. Right before he pulls the trigger, all of a sudden, a knife sprouts from Abbott's neck, and he falls down to the ground bleeding out, and he can't breathe, and we see that it was Gus who snuck down the ladder as well, who stabbed Abbot in the back of the neck. That's how Abbot's story ends in Sweet Tooth, our main antagonist, and truly a great character. Please do remember, we are doing that giveaway for Skybound Invincible toys. Once we reach 1,000 subscribers, we will be giving away one toy to 2 lucky winners, so you'll have a 1 in 500 chance of winning one of these toys. Otherwise, thank you for sticking around and watching the entire video on Abbot. We are doing a few more character pieces for the show Sweet Tooth that comes out on June 4th. So once you watch that, make sure to come back to the channel and get all the information that you're not able to glean from the show, as we'll have it here for you. Thanks everyone. Have a great day.